and welcome, welcome, welcome to First Unitarian Church of Orlando's first of our two Christmas Eve services. I am the Reverend Margalie Belizaire, spiritual leader of this congregation. To those of you worshiping in person and to all of you participating online, we welcome you to this special worship service tonight. Whoever you are, whoever you love, we are glad you are here with us this evening, however and from wherever you're joining us. Whether this is your first or your 1000th service in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. And this community, your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, national origin, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. We welcome you. Leading worship with me this evening are our worship associate, Neil Boris, our director of Lifesphere and Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrell, our music director, Aubrey Connolly Candelario, along with folk ensemble, and we also have our accompanist, Daniela Manzan Viega. Cami will be on flute, and Jacob Hayek on drums. We have board member Beth Tora and our chalice lighter Eliza. So, really, the Mary Band, is it the Band of Mary? Oh. And thank you to all the teams working in the background to make it possible for us to come together to worship tonight. For more information about our congregation, go to orlandouu.org, or you can email us at info@orlandouu.org. We invite all to have a candle with you. It looks like this. So if you didn't get one before you enter the sanctuary, make sure you get one, because toward the end of our service, we will be passing the light. And if you are at home, make sure you have a candle nearby, because, you know, when we go outside, we'll invite you as well to go outside and look at the stars or whatever is out at this point in the evening. And as we exit, we'll be singing Silent Night, and we'll move toward the labyrinth, okay? And we'll have treats afterwards for everyone to have in Gore Hall. So for those at home, please, please, we really do hope that you will find your way outside when we are there too, so we can feel like we're connecting with you in some way. I now call us to worship with the words of Pat Uribe Lichi. We gather. We gather to find new ways of loving, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. We gather, yes, always we gather, for it is in gathering that we find our hope. And this Christmas Eve, we gather to celebrate and be worthy together. And now, please join me in singing our first carol, Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly, hymn number 235, and the words will be up on the screen.
Well, good evening again. Hello. We're going to do a special children's chalice lighting this evening. And before I call up our beautifully dressed chalice lighter, I want to tell you a little bit about this tradition. The Unitarian Service Committee adopted the flaming chalice as their logo in 1941. Years later, in 1965, at the West Shore Church in Cleveland, Ohio, the youth led a Christmas service opened by ritually lighting a chalice. This is the first time the chalice was used in this way, except for in the children's classes and youth gatherings where the practice began. And we continue this practice here today with all our sibling congregations, following the example of those youth in Cleveland, Ohio, so long ago. So now, I want to call forward our chalice lighter, Eliza. Eliza is 7 years old, in the 2nd grade at Stone Lake Elementary. And when I asked her what she wanted everyone to hear about herself, here's what she said. She loves to play games and have fun. I like it. Yeah, I think you're right. That's good stuff. Now, we're doing a special chalice lighting, as I said, and we're going to use some hand signals along with words, okay? I have been practicing this a little bit, but I'm not very good at it, but let's do it together. All right. Here are the first words. We are Unitarian Universalists. And we make a chalice and we bring our thumbs forward for the flame. We are the church of the open mind. We are the church of the helping hands. We are the church of the loving heart. Oh, and Tiger's come up too. Yeah, well, she's here. It's all good. Thank you all.
Again, we are so glad that you're here tonight, especially our children and the grown-ups who brought them. If this is your first time with us, welcome. If you're visiting after a very long day of holiday excitement, you're exactly in the right place. You don't have to be perfectly still or perfectly quiet tonight, just perfectly yourself. Tonight is a night full of music and story, and it's a night when we remember a very old story that still has something important to teach us. And the Nativity story, the world is busy, crowded, and noisy, much like you can feel this time of year, right? And in the middle of all of that busyness, a tired family knocks on doors looking for a place to stay. There isn't much space. There isn't much to offer. But the innkeeper offers what he does have, a manger, a place of shelter, a small kindness that turns out to matter more than anyone could have imagined. Later in the story, wise men arrive with gifts. They don't really know what they'll find. They don't know exactly who this child will become, but they come with open hearts and generous assumptions, believing that something holy is happening, and that's worth showing up with their best. That's what Christmas Eve invites us to practice, being kind with what we have, even when it feels small, and being generous in how we understand one another, especially when we don't have the whole story. At the end of the service, we will light candles, share the light from one person to the next, and make our way toward the labyrinth while singing Silent Night. It is one of those moments when the story becomes something we don't just hear, but something we do. So settle in, sing along if you know the song, wonder out loud if you need to, and let this ancient story remind us that kindness and generosity are how light finds its way into the world. Welcome to Christmas Eve, beloveds.
for a second. That would be bad. Any children or young at heart who would like to join me up here this evening for the telling of this story, I invite you to come up and have a seat. I'm going to say the story happens in two parts. So I'm going to read the story, the first half, and then the folk ensemble is going to sing, and then I will read the second half, all right? We all set? All right. As you all probably know, here at 1U, this time of year we try to honor and recognize a lot of different traditions that welcome in this winter season. Tonight, I want to tell you the story that comes from the Christian tradition. You might all be able to guess. It's about the birth of Jesus. This part of the story comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 2, in the Bible. According to the story, this event takes place in Bethlehem about 4 BCE, and that stands for before the Common Era, which, if we count backwards, was 2,021 years ago. 2,021 years ago. There was a young couple whose names were Joseph and Mary. And if you look at the slides, you're going to see they traveled across the country to a place now known as Israel. And they traveled from where they lived in Nazareth to the capital. They were traveling to be counted for the census. That is, the government wanted to know how many people there were. It was a very long trip, and Mary was pregnant with their baby. They didn't have cars. They didn't have planes. They didn't have trains. So they were walking or they were riding on a donkey. While they were traveling, it was time for Mary to have the baby. And they could not find a place to settle down so she could have the baby safely. They ended up in a stable in Bethlehem where Jesus was finally born. Now, it had been prophesied, that means someone told a story about the future, suggesting that this child, Jesus, would grow up to be a very powerful and wise leader. The story says a star would be in the sky above the stable for all the people to know that this was the special child that had been born right below it. Now, it was also the time of King Herod. And after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, where was this child who had been born King of the Jews? For we observed the star rising, and we've come to pay him homage. What's paying him homage? Any guesses? It means paying him honor. Well, King Herod heard this and was frightened, and because he was concerned, all of Jerusalem was as well. He called together all his chief priests and scribes and the people, and he inquired of them where the Messiah, which means a special new leader, where that Messiah was to be born. And they told him, in Bethlehem of Judea. So King Herod secretly called for the wise men that were in town and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. King Herod was afraid that if Jesus was supposed to become king, that he, King Herod, would lose all his power and riches and his privileges that he had. So he pointed the wise men to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for this child. And when you have found him, bring word to me so that I may go and pay him homage." The wise men set out, and there ahead of them was the star and that they had been using, that they had seen rising. They walked towards it. They walked towards the star until they were under it and stopped over the place where the child was. They were overwhelmed. Everyone was so happy and filled with joy. Everywhere they turned, they heard stories about how Jesus, the newborn baby, was going to bring peace on earth and teach everyone how to love one another more. The birth of the baby seemed to bring everyone hope. So on entering the stable, the wise men saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid homage to him. Then, opening their treasure chests, they gave him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to trust the word of King Herod and not to return to him, they left back for their own homes by another road. find out. Maybe one reason that the wise men brought gifts to Jesus might have been because they knew about the challenges of the world and that what the child would be facing as he grew up. They wanted the child named Jesus to be strong and know that he was loved so that he could do the work of bringing peace into the world and to teach people to love one another better. The wise men brought the baby Jesus gifts because they wanted to show their excitement and their support. They were basically telling him, it's gonna be hard, but you can do it. Some people believe that Jesus was human, and just like you all. And some people believe that Jesus was the Son of God. Either way, what we do know from the telling of the story is that Jesus' birth has brought hope and to a great many people. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that every baby is born as a promise for peace and love in their hearts. The story of Jesus' birth reminds us to celebrate the birth of every child. We celebrate all of you. And each of you are going to be part of making the world a better place. Now, okay, guys, listen hard. It's hard to find gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So we're giving you some other gifts tonight. You'll face some challenges in your lives as you continue to grow up, and so we want you to know how much we love you and how much we support you. So we offer these 3 gifts. We give you symbols of our love in stickers with wise words on them. This one happens to say, self-care is a priority and necessity, not a luxury. But they are saying all different kinds of things. Here you go. We are giving you each a sweet treat. Actually, we're giving you 2, one for you and one to share with someone else. We give this to you in hope that you will always know that you are loved as you are, and will always remember to show others love as well. And then we're going to give you the gift of fidgets. Because the world needs more joy and comfort. Whenever you fidget with these, we hope you remember that you are loved and that you have the power to bring joy and comfort into the world. Reverend Margalie. No, I need you to, oh yes, please. Hey folks, this is your minister, right here. What? Oh, I was just going to ask you to bless our kids.
Yes. I was going to help you pass them around, too. I hope you heard all those wonderful words that Judith just said about you, right? I know we've got lots of fidgeting things down here that you're playing with, but I hope you hear how wonderful we believe you are and how much this community support you. So we want to make sure you know that your birth is a blessing and so is your life.
May you continue to live into that promise of peace and joy and love. Amen. Yeah. And as you get up to return to your seats, come by me and I will give you your little gift of gold, frankincense, and myrrh in some other format. Stand up. All right. Don't worry, I have more.
Hey, I'm Beth Tura. I'm your president-elect of the Board of Trustees. Each week, we make space to collect an offering. This is the time when we pass the basket to collect a financial donation from you. We do this not simply to invite you to practice generosity and be in the habit of giving, but also to intentionally and plainly remind you that your giving is necessary for you to exist and thrive, and for us to continue sharing the good news of Unitarian Universalism with the world. So, in the words of Michael Hall, as we approach the time for our offering, give what you will for the church that has meant so much to you, for the church that has meant so much to those who came before you, and for the church that will mean so much to the people you will never know. Give what you will, for you are a generous people. Today, our offering supports the One New Minister's Discretionary Fund. This is a fund set aside to provide confidential assistance to those facing emergency financial need, for congregational or community programs in need of seed money, and for other purposes as stipulated in board policy. Know that if you have an emergent financial need, we are here for you. These funds make it possible not only to assist members and friends of this church community, but also members of the larger community experiencing financial need. So give as generously as you can. You can also donate online by simply going to orlandouu.org and click the donate button in the upper right corner. The offering will now be collected.
Watch out now.
Thank you. Let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
And now a reading entitled Christmas Eve Candlelight Meditation by Gary Kowalski. Once more the years turned round. We've come full circle on this small planet, spinning down the grooves of change, another revolution completed around the sun. Christmas, telling us that history isn't just chasing its tail, not merely repeating the same old tired story over and over of dog eat dog, might makes right, every man for himself, blow for blow. Not a tale told by an idiot, but assuring us that history has a direction and time has a purpose, that lines are real as well as circles, that the human saga has a goal still to be realized, yet mysteriously present, already here among us, that the holy is enacting a new story on the earth. Christmas is not a creed we have to believe in. It's not a feeling that comes and goes. Christmas isn't something that happened long ago, or didn't happen, as the case may be. Christmas isn't a story we tell so much as a drama in which all of us have become participants, whether we feel like it or not, whether we believe in it or not, whether we like it or not. Christmas is a reality, here and now, just as love is a reality, and compassion a possibility hidden inside every interaction of how we choose to be with one another. Whether we feel like it or not, we are all siblings. And whether or not we believe it, we are all born of a single womb. Whether we like it or not, we are all one tribe and share one fate. Separateness is the illusion, while interdependence is the plainest fact. We know it in our heads, and when we know it in our hearts, then the center will be everywhere, and the circumference will have no boundaries, and the sun will rise on a new and different kind of dawn. And now we'll sing together, Joy to the World, number 245 in your hymnal.
I really did think I had more time. I would love to open my heart to you and keep it open. But the truth is, sometimes all it takes is a glance, or the lack of a glance, or a certain tone, or a serrated word, which is something, and then instantly, the heart puts on its armor, which is something like a coat of porcupine quills, only the quills go inward too. And the instant I wear it, I am aware of how much it hurts to wear it. How, in that moment, I seek to protect myself, I wound myself. What if I believe that you are doing the best you can, considering the forces that have shaped you? What if I listened past your words, looked through your actions to see how you, too, feel threatened? The Buddha said we are always moving toward or away from freedom. Could I, in that moment, before the prickly coat has started doing its prickly work, could I move toward freedom by refusing to put it on? Could I choose instead the silken robe of generous assumptions, the one that allows for compassion, connection, even kindness towards you, toward myself? Already, just thinking about it being possible, I notice a softening, a curiosity about how I might change, not you, but myself. Already I feel how fluid this robe, how gently it swirls around me, how strong its fibers, how freeing it is, cool and breezy, this gift to myself. Rosemary Watola Trummer. Sometimes hope feels warm and sparkly, like Christmas lights or singing together. But other times, hope is something we choose when things are confusing, messy, or hard. That kind of hope takes practice, and Christmas gives us a chance to practice it together. Tonight, the Christmas story teaches us how to meet this moment, not with magic, but with kindness and generous assumption. Good evening, beloveds. And again, especially to our younger friends here, and I'm liking what's happening here. Have a nice little group here, chatting together, getting to know one another. Remember, it's okay to wiggle. Yeah, have you ever had a day where you were tired, maybe even a little grumpy, right? Or hungry, and someone misunderstood you, or maybe you misunderstood someone else. Maybe someone said something that hurt your feelings, and right away you thought, they did that on purpose. That happens to grown-ups too, all the time. Tonight, the Christmas story invites us to practice two important things, two things that can make the world brighter: being kind and being generous in our assumptions. In the Gospel of Luke, we hear about Mary and Joseph, and you heard Judith telling you the story earlier. We heard about Mary and Joseph traveling a long way because the government told them they had to. Mary was pregnant, they were tired, and they were probably even scared. And when they got to Bethlehem, there was no hotel rooms available anywhere, right? Now, sometimes we hear the story and think, how rude, right? The innkeeper, it's as if the innkeeper did this on purpose, right? The innkeeper seems to get a bad rap. It's as if he purposely made no rooms available. Why wouldn't he make space? But the story doesn't say that the innkeeper was mean. It just says that there was no room, which can happen, right? And yet, instead of turning Mary and Joseph away, he made a choice. He made a different choice. We can imagine him saying, I don't have what you're asking for, but I have something, a stable, a manger. It is, of course, a place where the animals eat, but that's what I have. Sure, that wasn't perfect, but it was kind. And kindness is hopeful. Hope says, if I can't fix everything, I can do something. Kindness doesn't always mean having exactly what someone needs. Sometimes it just means offering what you do have. And that's important, especially for kids to hear, and grown-ups too. Kindness is not about being a superhero, or it's about noticing, it's about sharing, it's about saying, I see you, I see your needs. But let me say something very important right now. Being kind doesn't mean you letting people being unkind to you, right? Being kind also means being kind to yourself. If someone is hurting you, being disrespectful, or taking advantage of you, it is not kind or loving or right for you to stay quiet. You matter too. Your kindness begins with knowing that you are worthy of care. Even Jesus later in the story, you only heard about his birth, but later in the story, as he became an adult, he would walk away from people who tried to harm him. So remember, kindness doesn't mean disappearing yourself. So now let's talk about the Magi. You know those 3 wise men that Judith told you about, who came from far away, followed a star to find the baby. They brought gifts. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Come on now, let's be honest. If you went to a baby shower today and you brought those gifts, people might look at you funny, right? Gold, maybe. Frankincense? What even is that? Myrrh? Isn't that for funerals? By the way, kids and adults, I figure I had never seen frankincense and myrrh, not on purpose anyway. So we have some frankincense and myrrh here mixed together that you can engage later. More about that in a while. So they seem like strange gifts for a baby, at least by today's standard. And by the way, these were very impressive gifts in those days. They were gifts worthy for a king. But that's not what's important here. What if we judge his gifts by today's standards still, and remember to be generous in our assumption and how we think they came to bring such gifts? What if we assume that the Magi weren't trying to be strange, but they were instead trying to be thoughtful? What if we assume their intentions were pure? What if we trust that they offered the best they had and the language they knew? That's generous assumption. And just generous assumptions are a form of hope. Hope says there may be more meaning here than I can see now. The poet Rosemary Watala Trummer writes about how quickly our hearts can put on armor like a coat of porcupine quills when someone looks at us wrong or says a sharp word. We want to protect ourselves, but sometimes in protecting ourselves, we hurt ourselves too. She asked a brave question. What if I believe that you are doing the best you can, considering the forces that shape you, right? That doesn't mean excusing whatever bad behavior, but it doesn't also mean you being unsafe, but it means pausing for a minute, just long enough to ask, is there another story? Is there something that I'm not seeing here? The shepherds do this too. They hear angels, very strange news, and instead of dismissing it, they say, let's go see. And that's hopeful curiosity. Choosing hope doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means meeting whatever the moment is and saying, I will show up with kindness. I will assume that there is more going on than I know. Tonight, when we light candles and share the flame, we will practice this hope. We trust one another. We pass the light. We believe it will not go out as we pass the light one to the other. So may we carry that light with us, choosing kindness, choosing generous assumption, and choosing hope over and over again. didn't hear a lot of singing along, but okay. Tonight, we celebrate Christmas, honoring our Christian roots, and I hope, though, in the next few days, whether it's about Christmas for you, or solstice, or Kwanzaa, or Boxing Day, or a number of other holidays that are celebrated this time of the year, or you just enjoying cooler temperature and outdoor times, may it be filled with joy, peace, and hope. And I invite you now into a prayer right before we go and pass the lights. So, if you would sit as comfortably as you can and listen to these words. Loving Spirit of wonder and warmth, on this holy night, we pause, wiggly bodies, curious minds, and open hearts to say thank you. Thank you for stars that guide us, for songs we know by heart, for laughter, for candles, for stories told again and again, because they remind us who we want to be. Help us tonight and always to be kind, kind when we have a lot to give, and kind when all we have is a small space, a simple gesture, a manger instead of a palace. And may we share the light tonight. May it remind us that hope is something we choose, something we pass, something we carry into the world, one small flame after another, one small flame at a time. May we be so blessed. Okay, right before we start passing the light, I just want to briefly tell you what we have here. Is we have little notes in this chalice or tequila glass chalice. We have these little notes, and then in the other one, it's a mixture of frankincense and myrrh. So we would like, after the service, when you have time, to just come in and make a little bag for yourself, and there are these little bags in between. Just wanted to remind us, especially in this time with so much going on in the world, for us to practice kindness and being generous in our assumptions as we engage one another. So, now, hopefully, you have a candle, right? So what is going to happen is, I will light my candle from this chalice here, and then I'll go on to extinguish it, and I will pass on the light to all of our wonderful greeters and welcome team that's out there to help you as you walk out the door. We're going to open all these doors so you can go out through this door here, and we're all going to meet at the labyrinth. As you walk out, we have our wonderful Danny who will be playing, I believe it's Danny who will be playing, yes, who will be playing music for us to help us sing along, right? So we remember, those of you who are online, that if you could also go outside and, we'll be, as we're singing, you'll be hearing us. Maybe you can sing along, and then walk outside also and just kind of touch dirt or look at the beautiful stars in the sky at this time. So, remember, are we gonna have more people? Or? All right, so you can go ahead and start opening the doors. I'm gonna go ahead. Start walking toward the door here, and as you exit, light your candle.